Hey everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Scene Interviews, where we're celebrating the award-winning filmmakers from this year's BFI Future Film Festival. I'm Katia, one of the BFI Film Academy Young Programmers, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. First, a huge thank you to everyone who joined us for this year's festival. It was fantastic to meet some of you in person, watch the incredible shorts on the big screen, and listen to so many inspiring discussions both at the BFI South Bank and online. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to Rana Matar, who won the Best Documentary Award supported by Netflix for her powerful film, Your Voice Only. This deeply moving documentary follows a Sudanese man, Ibrahim, working in an isolated horse stable in Saudi Arabia as he struggles to contact his family after 3 months of silence. In just 13 minutes, the film offers an intimate glimpse into his reality, exploring themes of distance, identity, and resilience with a remarkable sensitivity. Rana delicately presents the duality between living and staying, the spoken and unspoken, with incredible nuance. So, without further ado, let's welcome Rana and dive into the story behind Your Voice Only and her journey as a filmmaker. Hi, Rana, it's great to have you here. Maybe first, for those who haven't watched Your Voice Only, can you introduce the film and explain what it means to you?
Of course, first of all, thank you so much, Katia, for the very nice introduction. Thank you for interviewing me. It's lovely to talk to you. So, in short, the film is about a 27 years old Sudanese guy living in an isolated horse stable in Saudi Arabia. And he's trying to reach out and contact his family after not contacting them for 3 months. So, in short, the 13 minutes film is about the story.
I think that the film beautifully mixes the social and the personal. Was this always your vision for the story, or did your perspective evolve throughout the filmmaking process? In other words, how did you discover your angle and what made you say, this is the story I need to tell?
To be very honest with you, when I met Ibrahim, I knew that I wanted to film him, but I still didn't know what the story and what was the approach that I was going to take. It took me a couple of times to visit him at first and know him as a human, and then I decided to follow him around with the camera and make the camera part of his life and try to follow him around without him acting or performing, and to see how we could create a story out of يعني realism cinema. But after some time, I learned about his family and I was very moved, and I decided to make the film revolving around his feelings towards his family, and how the time and space is very much revolved around the intimacy of not of wanting to talk to his family and wanting to be around with his family.
That's really interesting. And it's interesting that you mentioned realism cinema, and your film has a very unique visual style as well. So I was just wondering, what are some films or directors that have been essential in shaping your approach to filmmaking?
For me, I'm very much influenced by realism cinema. During my 4 years of studying filmmaking, I was very much influenced by Abbas Kiarostami, the Iranian filmmaker, as well as Robert Bresson, the French filmmaker. And يعني both filmmakers, they have different styles, but both of them work with not professional actors, and they very much have realism approach to their at some point with their filmmaking. If I would talk about Abbas Kiarostami, for me, I think I was very much influenced by him because his filmmaking style is very much similar to documentary, even though his films are fiction, but it's following around the characters and the story with very natural and very realist point of view. And people very much call Abbas Kiarostami's filmmaking that it's like documentary wise. So for me, I definitely like to mention, even in fiction, I'm very much influenced by him. But of course, we have to mention André Bazin, who brought the theory of realism cinema to our film schools and to our lives. So of course I have to mention him first.
That's a really nice mix as well of filmmakers, and I can see both of them in your film. I just wanted to mention one of my favorite scenes in the film, which is the one where Ibrahim listens to music and plays it to the horse. And it's so genuine, so pure. The character just seems to completely ignore that the camera is there, which is quite rare in documentary filmmaking. Can you tell us more about Ibrahim and the connection you built with him during the filmmaking process? As in, what steps did you take to ensure he felt comfortable in sharing his story?
Yes, of course. So first off, I'd follow Ibrahim with the camera around, and I was very much influenced by observational documentary, where the camera is just part of nature. It's just capturing what the main lead character would do daily. And since I met with Ibrahim several times before I started recording the documentary film, and I've had an idea of what he'd usually do daily in his life. So I had an understanding when things were just natural or when he would be by chance, acting or performing or so. So the moment I felt that he was acting or performing for any seconds, I would just switch off the camera and put it on the side and I would just watch him. And then he just, at some point, I think he got an understanding of what kind of film I'm trying to make. And then he would just go back to working as if I was not there or as if I'm not there or the camera is not there. So after some time, I think we had this trust between us. The trust was built that I would want to show his life in the very most realist way possible. And thank you for your kind words about the scene. I'm very happy that you love it. Actually, the scene was filmed. I was shocked myself. I was standing with my sister. She was the sound recordist that day. I had three different sound recordists, so she was with me that day, and both of us were very confused what Ibrahim was doing. We just turned around and we were watching him. Putting the phone on the horse ears and making him hear music. That was insane for us. But I think we were very impressed by him, and I just took it on point. I was telling my sister, start recording, we need to take the shot, and I filmed it on spot. So I was impressed as well. I didn't know he would do something like that.
Yeah, no, it was just great. It was a great moment of humor as well in such a, bleak and very slow story. So yeah, it just right away put a smile on everyone's faces during the screening. You mentioned you had three sound recordists. Could you unpack that more? Could you tell me more about the crew and what was the usual dynamic behind the camera?
So actually, this film was made in a documentary course in film school, and it was a 6 months documentary course. And my sound recordist was mainly from my class. Two of them were actually from my documentary class. And then I had to change between them based on their availability slots. So it was very much revolving around whether they were available that day or not. So this is how I have three sound recordists. It's as simple as that. But when I felt that I really wanted that day to go film, I didn't have to wait for anyone. No, it was easier for me to just even teach my sister how to use the sound equipments and come film with me, because my sister didn't have any background in film. She's even studying architecture. And I remember that day I really wanted her to come with me because I needed to film. And this is the importance of documentary. It's not like there are days that you don't want to film, so you don't film. No, there's a responsibility. You're making a film, you need to go. So I remember I taught my sister how to use the sound equipment from A to Z, and I made her come with me to the shoot. So as simple as that. This is how I have three sound recorders on my film.
That's very funny. And I think yeah, it's so nice also shooting with your family as well. You mentioned time and you mentioned taking the time to film. And obviously, time, even in this story, is such an important theme. I'm wondering, over what period did you film actually, and how did you approach condensing time in the edit while maintaining the emotional depth of the story?
Actually, editing took from me so much time. It took from me more time that it took for me to shoot. So I was very much concerned how to show everything because I ended up with so much footage. You know, I was the cinematographer, I was the director, the editor. So I ended up with a lot of footage. So I had to go back to the editing room and edit as I was filming because then I would have an understanding next time that I was filming what else would I needed to film, to take shots of. So editing for me, it took, I think, around 3 months. It really took 3 months and a half. And then, I had to show drafts to professionals and then hear feedback from them. And then people would say, no, it needed, there's more feelings. We need more feelings in it. We need more, the feedback that you usually take. And I also want to mention the importance of asking for feedback during your editing process, because when you're in the editing phase, you are very much involved in the story and you're very much attached to the character and you love the character, you love the story, you love everything about it. You think you're amazing and you think, your shots are really beautiful and all. But then it's very important to have very different professional eyes that could watch your film because they're not attached to the story. They don't think your filmmaking is amazing and that everything you're doing is nice and sweet and all. So then this is where the balance comes. And also you're very smart because in Saudi Arabia, the weather is usually very hot. Specifically in Jeddah and Dahban. So it's usually hot and the winter is not so much winter. So it's like the weather is always, sunny and it's always on the same mood. So I didn't face any problems with that. Maybe just a little bit when I was matching the colors because I was also the colorist in my film. So yeah, that's maybe that, yeah.
Would you say then that the editing was the biggest challenge you had to face while making the film?
Yeah, definitely 100%. For me, I think editing, because I remember someone gave me an advice. It was kill your babies, you need to kill your darlings and kill your babies in editing. And and when I heard it for the first time, I thought it was very intense, but then this is what happens when you decide, because in my case, I was the cinematographer, director, and editor, colorist of the film. And I was the writer as well. So I took so many roles that usually in documentary filmmaking, you would have different departments. So the editor wouldn't be as much involved in with emotions with your shots as I would be because I am the director. So this is where the challenge started. It started because I was very much emotionally involved and I emotionally attached as well. And I couldn't tell because I took all roles. So for me, no, I think it's great, of course, but then people would just so it was very important. And specifically I was very lucky during my film school. We had editing sessions. Like every time I'd edit a draft, I'd come with it to class and I'd hear and I'd screen it for my classmates, and my classmates would give me feedback, each one of them. So I think I was very lucky to do this film while I was in film school.
That's great to hear. And it's great to hear also how you managed to balance the idea of being a director and an editor, because a lot of documentary filmmakers are actually doing both as well at first. So once again, massive congratulations on winning Best Documentary at the Future Film Festival. I'm wondering, how was it like to find out that Your Voice Only had been selected and nominated?
It was amazing. I remember I was in Red Sea Film Festival, and it was the opening of Red Sea Film Festival where my fiction film was being selected and was being screened at the festival. And I remember during the opening, I received the email. I think I received it from Ruben, and I was very excited. I even remember I told my NEOM media colleagues who were sponsors of my next film, I was like, I got accepted in BFI, and everyone was like, wow, that's such an amazing step. So for us, it was amazing because I think it was a very special moment. It's very lovely to feel that the films that you make in film school have the chance to be screened. For me, film festivals is a great opportunity for people to watch my film because it's a lot of people and different backgrounds and different cultures. So the bigger the festival, the better because it means that your film has bigger access to much people, to a lot of people. So I think I was very happy. I was very lucky, and being nominated was great as well. I remember the feelings, and I'm very grateful and thankful for the moment.
Yeah, I remember when your film screened actually, and all the reactions and all the discussions afterwards. And I realized how important festivals like this are for young filmmakers. Obviously, you already answered a bit to why you think they matter, but what advice would you give to those who are looking to share their short films with the world?
Okay, I think it's very important to understand that each festival has a style. And for BFI Film Academy, what's super, super, super interesting, and maybe you could say a better opinion is in this because you're a programmer in BFI. But what I really found interesting when I watched the rest of the films, and all of them were great, was that there was a variety of styles and different tastes and different storytelling approaches that filmmakers used. And I really love this about the festival because it didn't just have a very it's a very narrow style or requirements that you need to do in order to be in the festival. And I think this is a really great festival because it gives the freedom for the young filmmakers to express different styles and to even be in the same program. Like I even watched the different films in different programs, and I found that they weren't similar at all. They were maybe the themes were similar, but what I found interesting that the themes and I mean the style and the storytelling approach were very different. So I think BFI Film Academy is an amazing place for young filmmakers to express their voices and to learn from each other and to get to know about different styles because I remember watching so many amazing films in BFI Film Academy when they were uploaded on YouTube, and I was thinking, wow, everyone in the UK and out of the UK, of course, they have amazing styles and very different from each other. And it's nice that a festival could capture all this in different programs. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Every film had such a unique visual language, um, and perspective. So yeah, it was definitely great to watch so many great films made by people who are our age as well. I want to mention your speech at the award ceremony, where you stressed the importance of women in film, Arab women in film, and the fact that you're an advocate for cinema for humanity. How did this shoot, filming in an environment dominated by men with a crew composed entirely of women, shaped you as a filmmaker and influenced the types of stories you want to tell?
That's a really nice question. Um, it's very interesting to me, ever since I started making films, the industry and people around me, even the magazines, the interviews, they all have this one sentence, women in film, and then they have me in this category. And I think it's very important for me that women, they tell the stories of their culture. Um, and I think when a woman tries to tell a story, uh, she could at some point, and I really believe in what Chantal Akerman said, that Chantal Akerman is a woman Belgian filmmaker, and she said that that men have seen women in a way that is not really true, you know and I love to believe that women, they have a very different maybe way of seeing things. Maybe could be because of emotional, uh, could be for so many biological reasons. But I really like to believe that women have a very unique way of seeing stories and telling them, and they have the patience and the love and the heart to see things in a very slow and a very calm way. So of course, as a woman filmmaker, I will tell you, of course, and women, and they need to go make films, and of course, I would support this. But to be very honest and fair with you, I really think I really think overall, it's just the idea of telling the human stories around you. Like for me, I was telling the human stories that were around me, and I use storytelling as an approach for people to connect and for people to feel empathy for each other. For me, cinema is a tool to express myself and to express my culture and to tell my stories. So, and of course, it's art in general. It's a tool for people to get to understand each other better. And I really believe that art, it brings people closer to each other. So I was very lucky that through my film, I was able to tell a human story because this is my goal at the end of the day.
I feel like you have a very specific approach and a very specific vision of what you want to film. And that's great because you're so young. And, for some people, it takes, you know, dozens of years to get to that point, and you're already there. So maybe what's a piece of advice you'd give to someone who wants to make their own film but isn't sure where to start?
I would tell them take a camera and just start filming. Of course, of course. And the story will unfold with time. You just have to have the patience that the story will unfold and it will it will be like cooked. Like when you're cooking a good meal, you have to trust the process and have the patience with the results. So I love to believe that filmmaking is like cooking, and you have to have this patience. And my advice is just take a camera and go film, because specifically for your voice only. And I also want to share a story. I remember that I started filming as being the cinematographer in my film because I was told in my documentary class, please don't film. Your cinematography is really bad. Your cinematography sucks. Please don't film and let someone else film it for you. You're an amazing director, but just let someone else use the camera. And it triggered me so much. I remember it really triggered me. And I went and I watched YouTube tutorials on how to use the camera. I went to the equipment manager in our film school and I went to him and I was like, please teach me how to use this camera. And I started reaching out to professionals and I learned how to use the camera and I went and I made the film. So nothing could stop you. I just want to give an advice to believe in yourself and to give yourself the time and space and the trust that you're going to make a good film.
That's
That's
very insightful as well. I think it's great advice. I want to talk a bit more about winning the Best Documentary Prize, which is supported by Netflix, which has provided £1,500 cash prize alongside a mentorship package. How do you plan to use this support to further your career?
I think I was very lucky that Netflix, they loved my film. It's of course a dream. L- Put aside the cash, put aside the mentoring. I was very lucky that BFI made this really clever and smart support with Netflix. And my thanks to BFI because this is it's very smart and it's really supportive to the young talents. And this is what BFI Film Academy does. And it's really beautiful. But let aside the cash and let aside the mentoring, just the validation itself that Netflix programmers, they loved my film. I think that's very enough. And I think it's giving me the support and the push to make another film. And why I think this opportunity is very important for me is because people believed in me. And I never forget the people who believe in me because, and I don't think anyone forgets the people who believe in them. And I think having people or institutions or academics who believe in you, it makes you want to work more on yourself and learn more and study more and make more films. And this is why I'm lucky. And of course, having the mentoring side of Netflix and the cash, it will help me make my other film. And we've already, when I won the award, I started working on the pre-production of my next film because I was very encouraged to start working on another film.
Could you share a bit something about your next film? Can you share anything?
Yes, I can. It's a woman film. It's a fiction. It's a short film that hopefully we want to share in Jordan. We want to film in Jordan. So we're now in the pre-production phase, and hopefully we can get the Netflix point of view on guiding us the directions now, how to proceed or where to proceed. So it's a very short, dark comedy, let's say, fiction film, something very different from my documentary. But of course, it's a realism cinema.
Can't wait to watch it. Thank you again, Rana, for joining us today and for such an insightful conversation. And thank you to everyone who watched the interview. You can watch Your Voice Only on our YouTube page for free. In our next scene interview, Elijah will be talking to Joel Claudio about rebirth, so stay tuned. Until next time, bye.